Hello, gentle viewers. This is Vindian, welcoming you back to Out of the Park Baseball 22 with yet another new team, the Washington Senators. We find ourselves with another new team because apparently owners are being real jerks these years. So yeah, we need to try to repair our reputation, I think. It's been, golly, 20 years since we won a World Series championship. That's way too long. We got to fix that. But in order to fix that, the most important thing we need to do is we need to start making bigger strides in the early seasons. So we'll have to see how that turns out. So what does our owner want us to do? Well, let's find out, shall we? He wants a better record, okay, improved attendance, more money, and better starters. All these things are likely not going to happen. In fact, I strongly suspect most of them won't happen. But all we can do is all we can do. And the most important thing in the short term is making sure I don't get fired again. Because my reputation has been carrying me quite well for quite a while, and I'm still an amazing manager. However, it's been a while since I've taken a team to the World... It's been a while since I've taken a team to the World Series, period. It's been 12 years, and it's been 20 since I've won a title. So, yes, I won 11 World Series. It's more than anyone else in history by a pretty substantial margin, I suspect. If we take a quick look here. Managers. Yep. And, yep. So I've won the most pennants and I've won the most world championships. That's all awesome. I've won 5,000 games. No one else is even half that far. And it looks pretty unlikely anyone else will get there. Just because I've managed 10,000 games. Like by winning percentage, I'm pretty solid, but I'm also very middle of the pack. Where is Doc of Indian? 548 doesn't sound great, and it's not, but it's also 11 World Championships, so y'all can suck it. So someone had brought up a really good point on last Monday's video. How does pitch count work in baseball? And this is a good time to talk about, because that's what we're here, right? We're here about the history of baseball. One of the most common complaints that you'll hear from anybody in any sport, really, is, oh, today's players are soft. If they played in year I watch sports, they would have been destroyed. I will tell you firmly, confidently, without reservation, that's bullshit. At best, it's disingenuous. At worst, it's just a flat-out lie. Because that is not accurate. Also, holy shit, dude. Ed Flynn has one major league season, wins the World Series, and then just, like, disappears. That's pretty funny. Intriguing. Anyway. That could not be farther from the truth. It's very commonly thought, but it's just not accurate. In reality, it's actually quite likely to be the reverse. So, if you go way back in baseball's history, you will see people regularly throwing 400 innings in a season. Old Hoss Radburn threw over 600. And your immediate reaction is going to be, oh, he must have been one of the greatest of all time. Which he was. But then you would make the very damning next statement, I bet he would carve up a modern roster. At which point I start laughing hilariously. Ha 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 ha. Because that ain't going to happen. Pitching was very, very different in Hoss Radburn's day. He didn't throw nearly as hard as the average Major League starter. Like, prior to, say, Bob Feller, the hardest thrower in the game was Walter Johnson. Before that, I genuinely don't know. Those are the only two pitchers, in my opinion, from before the 1950s that I think could come into a modern Major League game and have had some success if they were both alive, which they're not. And I'm not saying that, say, a Christy Mathewson couldn't have been very, very effective. But the reason that guys like Christy Mathewson threw so many innings is that they faced a lineup where the worst thing that would happen might be a double or a triple. You didn't have home run threats. It just didn't exist. There were entire teams that didn't have a single home run. Once the dead ball era ended in the mid-1920s, things started to change, but not by that much. Yes, you had Babe Ruth and Lou Gehrig and players like that. I'm sure there's lots more I'm just not thinking of at the moment. But most teams would only have one or two of them. So then it goes from being hold all your best stuff until the end of the game because what matters is just getting to the end of the game to, yeah, the big scary guys, you're going to have to pitch to them. It's going to suck. But just wait. And you'll get to easy outs at some point. Now you get to today's game. And where your average lineup might have one, maybe two easy outs. And even then, easy is relative. If you fuck up to even the worst regular hitter, there's a chance it could hit right over the fence. Even the worst hitter is capable of doing that, which was just not the case in the 1920s. Definitely not before that. And even by the 1940s, let's say you've got 2 to 3 big bombs, well, that's still 6 hitters that you can kind of coast when you face them. So, yes, pitchers threw more innings, but their innings were also shorter. They'd have to throw as many pitches in a game because they weren't striking people out. They weren't really walking people, and they weren't really giving up home runs. It was mostly pitching to contact and trusting your defenders. Now, way back in the day, the defenders were also all dog shit. It wasn't their fault. They didn't even have gloves for the first years of Major League Baseball. But they were dog shit. And the fields were awful too. Like, now you go to a Major League Baseball park, or hell, even most of your minor league baseball parks, and you're going to see beautifully trimmed grass. You're going to see perfect dirt, that Kentucky mud that people go crazy about, and all of that in a state. They'll look immaculate. But back in those days, no, especially in baseball's earliest days, people were just like, we don't really care. We don't really know what matters. We're just going to use any old field like a sandlot. Well, sandlots are full of rocks. Baseball hits a rock, it's going to ping off in an unexpected direction. But all that said, really great fielders weren't there in the early days of the game because it wasn't something that was greatly prized. People generally didn't hit the ball that hard. It was just a different time. So all this is to say, Hoss Radburn did not throw 90 miles an hour. I feel pretty confident in saying that. And he didn't really have to worry about throwing lots and lots of pitches. So, if you're playing OOTP set in the 19th century, I would never give a pitcher a pitch count. It doesn't make any sense. Because even under the worst of circumstances, it is nearly impossible that you will see a pitcher have that really big year where they're just can't pitch that well. As you start to get later on, though, you may want to think about adding a pitch count. But why do pitch counts matter? Depending on when you're watching this, you may be aware, of course, that the Houston Astros just played the Atlanta Braves, and the Braves won the World Series. However, the real story was Dusty Baker, the manager of the Houston Astros, who had never won a World Series ring. And that's true. And Dusty Baker, by all accounts, seems like a pretty nice dude. But Dusty Baker is kind of the giant cautionary tale of really riding pitchers hard, thinking that pitchers in the modern game can throw as many pitches as they want. So you get pitchers like Mark Pryor and Kerry Wood, who basically have their arms blown out from getting really high workloads when they're really, really young. And he did that in other stops too, but it's when he was managing the Cubs in the early 2000s that it was really obvious that this was not going to work. I don't think he ever learned from that, but he also didn't really have, like, pitchers the caliber of Pryor and Wood, in my opinion. The Cubs could have won a World Series in the 2000s with a healthy Mark Pryor and a healthy Kerry Wood. They could basically do what the Diamondbacks did in 2001, just with Kerry Wood and Mark Pryor instead of Curt Schilling and Randy Johnson. But they didn't. And they didn't because they were pushed way too hard, way too young. And that really hurt the league. All this to say, when you are playing your games later on, you're going to want to assign a pitch count to pitchers. And I'm going to start with the modern game, and then I'll kind of talk about how you might adjust it later on. In the modern game, you need to track workload very closely, both in the minors and in the majors. I don't do this in OOTP 22 because I'm a busy guy and I don't actually care about these players. No one's going to fire me if I blow out a bunch of arms. But it's important to remember that these are players that pitched in high school and pitched in college. So, even most college seasons, I don't think run very far past the 60 game mark, and I think most of them are well under that. I'm actually not sure how long an average college season is. I think it's like 40, 50 games, though. It's not very many. Which means you're not talking about pitchers throwing 200 innings. You're talking about them maybe throwing 100 innings. And that's obviously not a major league workload. So early on in the minors, you're interested in just building up their talent. You want to get them used to throwing more and more innings. What you're really looking for is what's called the Injury Nexus. This is, I believe, was coined by Will Carroll of Baseball Prospectus, which is this idea that once pitchers hit a certain amount of mileage on their arm, the possibility for catastrophic career-ending injuries drops off dramatically. It's different for every pitcher, obviously, and you can monitor it closely, but typically this is around age 24 to 25. I'm not saying once you get through the nexus that your pitchers will never get injured. What it's saying is that your arm will become accustomed to it, and it's unlikely that you'll have the kind of catastrophic injuries that basically end your career. So, generally speaking, the first year of a rookie in the major leagues, you want to look at how long they've been in the minors. If they've been in the minors for a while, you can maybe give them a 90 pitch count. If they haven't been in the minors for very long, you might want to give them an 80 pitch count. And then you want to gradually increase that workload as you see how the pitcher handles the workload. Going back further in history, though, your pitchers aren't going to pitch quite as many pitches in a season. because there typically aren't big strikeout guys, although it is starting to change. Starting in the late 30s, early 40s, you start seeing these big strikeout pitchers. Some of which will be successful, some of which won't. And Bob Feller is the classic example of a big time strikeout pitcher. But for the most part, it's going to be pitching around the big guys, pitching to contact for the weaker guys, trusting your defense, and trying to get harmless fly balls. For some people, those fly balls won't be so harmless, and you have to adjust your approach for that. But the big, super huge power hitters aren't as common as they will be later on, and so that's an easier task. You typically know, okay, I'm facing the 1927 Yankees. I'm really worried about Babe Ruth and Lou Gehrig, maybe a couple of others. Tony Lazzari, great player, not nearly the power threat of his teammates. So maybe I can go a little bit easier on him. Theoretically. Although this will get harder and harder as time progresses. So I'm not going to bother with pitch counts in the 40s. Because I just don't think players are going to get really big pitch counts. If we take a quick look at the Washington Senators, let's refocus here. How many pitches did these guys throw per game? Over 100. Up to 124 for Dizzy Trout. So that's not a small amount of pitches, right? But they're also doing something very stupid here, which is letting their relievers, their starters, pitch in relief. I don't know why you do that. And it's also fair to say this is probably too big a workload. Especially for a guy who doesn't throw super hard. But that's fine. But if you go back in Major League history, you're going to see those pitches per game numbers drop off pretty substantially. So in this game, I'm not going to bother with it because I know how the game works. And I know it's not going to likely be pushing me so much. I also want to spread the love a bit more. I don't think I would ever pick always start highest rested. Unless we're in such a bad shape as the Washington Senators are, unfortunately. Which is that they've got a couple really good starters and a bunch that are really bad. This is what we need to fix. So I hope that answers your question about how to set pitch counts. It really depends on the individual pitcher, and it really depends on the era. I'm going to guarantee you Bill Bevins and Dizzy Trout are going to break down. This is an unholy number of innings to be pitching. But then again, they're both also relatively old at this point. And at a certain point, some people are just freaks. If my dude wants to throw 200 innings a year, I don't see how I can stop him. But also, look at these walk numbers. It's very fair to say that he's not necessarily helping the team by throwing all those innings. And this is borne out by the facts, which he's not a very good control pitcher. So you definitely want to get more starters to spread out the load a bit more and try to get those walks down. Same thing with Bill Bevins, who was just drafted 6th overall last year and immediately given a 300-inning workload. Looks like he's durable. Good for him. This is too heavy a workload. We need to start fixing these. We need to get better pitchers so that we can spread the workload a lot more, and then we need to make sure that we have a quality bullpen that can take some of the pressure off of them. Okay. What are we talking draft-wise? We're picking 3rd overall behind 2 consecutive Dodgers picks. Okay. It's an interesting draft. Well, let's talk about what we have already that we're pretty comfortable with. Bevins and Trout are good enough. Nick Etten is certainly a pretty solid first baseman. Jerry Pretty, he's fine. We could definitely do better, but he's fine. Nap Reyes is a pretty darn good third baseman. I have big hopes for him. We got Pee Wee Reese. Certainly not a terrible choice for a burgeoning young ball club who wants a shortstop. Maury Arnovich, a very, very solid player indeed. Mike Krayovich, great defender, but we're getting to the point where his bat's not going to be able to carry that for too much longer. And then we have Gene Woodling, a very talented player in his own right. So we have several promising pieces on offense. If I was going to pick areas we need to improve at, we definitely need a better second baseman. And we could use a better catcher. Because we got 5 catchers, none of whom are very good. But really it's going to be about the pitching staff. If we can rebuild the pitching staff in a very effective way, we're going to be in great shape going forward with the Senators of Washington. To that end, we want to focus pretty heavily on pitchers. Like, looking at Bell Salfield, you're like, oh my god, that dude's awesome. Then you get to this. This is not a major league catcher. Somebody will draft him very high and will be disappointed with him. I am not going to be that player. I'm not going to take him. Dave Ferris is the pretty obvious choice. He doesn't strike a lot of people out, but he throws relatively hard, really good movement, and he's got a couple of pitches that are relatively decent. That's one possibility. We've got the big left-hander Billy Pierce, who is going to struggle with control, but is a big strikeout guy. So that could be a good option. We could even try out Joe Nuxhall, although I certainly don't trust him. Or we could keep our pick. We could keep our pick, kick it down the road, and hope that we start getting a really great player down the line. I am going to wait to make any big decisions, though, because one thing I've noticed is that everyone is slow because our scout hasn't had a chance to do anything yet. So we're going to sit on that for a bit. And we're going to see what happens. Coaching staff, I think we have pending offers. That'll be great. Anything else I want to do? Who is overpaid and not very good? Hi, Billy Werber. I'm taking literally anybody that has even a modicum of talent. I'm looking at all of them. Hal Gregg is a starter. I don't know why I'm insisting that he's a reliever. Yeah, I will happily trade for Hal Gregg. I'm sorry you said about Billy Werber fans, but he was way overpaid and not very good. And just like that, we've just improved our starting pitchers. Now, I won't deny that Hal Gray does have some growing pains ahead of him, and his control isn't great. But unlike other pitchers, his stuff is so tremendous that I feel pretty confident that he's going to turn out okay. Who else we got? Players with great big salaries that aren't deserving great big salaries. Gilly Campbell or Jilly or whatever your name is. Goodbye. And anyone else questionable baseball talent that we can dispose of. That sounds so evil, but Buzz Boyle, for all of his talents, allegedly, is a replacement level hitter. Why am I paying him $12,000? I don't know. Where are you, Buzz? Yeah, Buzz, you're cut. I'm not spending $12,000 on your inability to play baseball very well. This is one thing I don't like. I shouldn't be paying him anything because there are no guaranteed contracts at this point, and I don't think OTP has a signing bonus, so I'm just going to tell him to go away. It still saves you money in the long run. Jim Gleason, again, $11,000. I'm just going to cut him too. Tom Turner can't catch. Again, why is he on my roster? I don't know. Tex Carlton isn't very good. But I'm already at the point now where we're actually starting to make money. So we take the front office now. We're going to earn $43,000 at the end of the season, which is pretty great. There's definitely room for improvement, though. There's definitely probably more players earning too much money that we could dispose of, but hey, he's at least got good power. I can make that work. You're not a terrible backup shortstop, and I want to make sure that I do have at least a decent one. Ellis Clary's ability to draw walks is nice, but eh. The real thing we need to do, though, is we just need to find really good players, and the rest will take care of itself. So far, there's only one catcher on this team that I trust, and his name is Al Lopez. And not because Al Lopez is a good hitter, but because he's a fantastic defender. So I don't need a good bat from him. And he's certainly not my first choice, but let's try to trade Joe Schultz. I have a feeling we'll get some offers for him. We can go. No, I'm going to keep him just because we need a backup catcher. We'll trade him the moment we don't need him anymore. All right. So we've already made some pretty substantial improvements to the bottom line to the point where I can now add players without being concerned, which is all to the good. Okay, people are signing contracts. This is good news. This problem. I have no idea why the game thinks the best place to find free agent, the best thing to spend free agents on is freaking bad pitchers. Like, these are not good players. I can easily find much better players for $0. Oh, that's a good point. What do we have in terms of the minors? We have very little. Okay. Excellent. I think that's everybody. Yep. Team chemistry looks great, but we do need to start doing some teaching. Wheeler, teach the catchers. Madden, teach the infielders. Wheeler, teach the outfielders. And Wheeler, teach... No, it's going to make him overworked. Bench coach can teach the catchers for right now. Or Madden could do it. Here you go, you teach outfield. And then we get excellence across the board. Brilliant. That'll look good. How's team chemistry? It's decent. We got a couple players who are just jerks, apparently. But we're going to fix a lot of this. We just need a good draft and some exploration in the Rule 5. And I think we'll have a better team. Do we win any awards? Congratulations, Gene Woodling. Well done. Did anybody from my old team win any awards? So let's start with Gold Glove winners. Any Dodgers? Nope. My guy finished second in reliever for the year. That's pretty cool. Good old Augie got a Silver Slugger, as did Billy Sullivan. Warren Spahn finished second in Rookie of the Year. And Chet Ross got MVP. That's not terrible. I'm happy with how that went. Go up to winter meetings. Oh no. Anyway. Up to Hall of Fame voting. Come on, guys. You gotta let Doc Ayers in. I love me some Max Bishop. I just don't think he's gonna get in, but I'm gonna vote for him anyway. He's my favorite kind of player, the kind with disgusting numbers of walks. Jim Bottomley is a no-brainer. With 3,000 hits, it's awfully hard. Now, Jim Bottomley did make the Hall of Fame in real life too, but his record was a lot more mixed. He was still good. He just wasn't as good. But yeah, real life Jim Bottomley in our league is very worthy of the Hall of Fame. Yeah, Pete Donahue is fine, I guess. I'll vote for Jimmy Dykes because no one else will. Not George Earnshaw, though. Lou Gehrig is a loser. Who wants him? I'm just kidding. Of course, Lou Gehrig deserves to be in the Hall of Fame. Goose Goslin does not, in my opinion. I don't think he's got the record. I'm not going to vote for him on my first ballot. But maybe in a couple of seasons I'll think about it. Burley Grimes, you gotta love a man who won 254 and 254. You have to. Harvey Hendrick, meh. Charlie Holliker is a yes for me. Rabbit Moranville should not be fighting this hard to get into the Hall of Fame, but that's fine. I can't force you to draft him, put him in, unless I choose to. Babe Ruth, what a freaking loser. Yeah. 154 WAR, 8 MVPs. Turns out that Babe Ruth guy is pretty good. Pretty good. There's really not anybody else on this ballot I feel particularly willing to fight for. Ray Schalk. Yeah, I'll vote for him. I don't think Red Lucas is that great, but that freaking name, the National Narcissus, is so brilliant that that's a Hall of Fame name. I don't even care if he makes it or not. That's brilliant. That seems good. I'm gonna laugh my ass off when somehow Babe Ruth isn't unanimous. Okay. So, it is draft time. We now have a decent bit more... No, we don't. Do not have more information. We actually have less information because my scouting director wasn't talking to them. Why are you sending anything on international scouting? I don't get it. There is no benefit for that. All right. So we're going to go ahead and sim up to my pick. And the choice I was hoping I didn't have to make, I have to make. Between Dave Ferris and Billy Pierce. Or between taking somebody and not signing them. Because I got to admit, again, it's kind of like trying to into the Brooklyn Dodgers, right? If you're not getting an all-world player, why would you use the 3rd overall pick on them? Why not just hold on to it until after the war and hope to get a truly amazing player? Glenn Crawford's not worth it. Pierce might be. Ferris might be. Like, I was given a mandate to have better pitchers, right? And Ferris or Pierce would be a significant upgrade over what we have now. But Pierce is also extremely raw. Like, Pierce is not ready for the big leagues. I don't care what he might think he is. Pierce is the right decision if we want a great pitcher in 2 to 3 seasons. If I want to be competitive for right now, Ferris is the right answer. The third answer, of course, is to punt on either of them. Just pick somebody at random. And then down the line, we pick someone better next year. There's also Whitey Lockman, who's a pretty great hitter, actually, but I don't think I'm that interested in him. Do I take the pick? How many years do I have on my contract? My contract. Game. Oh yeah, it's going to be in front office. Haha. Personnel. I have a 1-year deal. So as much as this pains me, I have to get better very quickly. And that means Dave Ferris. I don't like it. I think it's bad for the team in the long run. But if I'm not here, I don't care what happens to the team in the long run. So Dave Ferris it is. And I will return in just a moment. Alright, who do we take next? Well, we also have a pretty crappy bullpen. In point of fact, we have exactly one pitcher who's even someday going to be a 55. So I'm pretty sure our second round pick is going to be none other than Dick Mowney. Unless it's going to be Johnny Hetke. No, you're both kind of the same thing. And Mowney throws harder, so I'm going to take him. And draft. And I'll even draft Hetke as well. We'll really start rebuilding the bullpen. Garvin Hamner would be a decent second baseman if not for this god-awful arm strength. And yes, arm strength matters less at second than it does at short or third, but still. Not a fan. I guess you just take Elmer Singleton and we'll just completely remake the bullpen in one season. You're not the worst possible catcher. I know you're not a great hitter, but you're right around league average as a catcher. Unless Milt Welch is way better at both. Which he isn't. Let's go ahead and take you. And then do you have any super secret major league studs who have just not been addressed appropriately? Wow, the best contact hitter left is a 12 out of 100. Yeah, I think it doesn't matter who we draft now. We definitely have a better pitching staff with what we're adding. And that's definitely important. We gotta trust Al Lopez to be a good dude and look after our team. So there we go. Up to the Rule 5. This is gonna be big. I'm definitely planning to taking multiple players in this draft. So what do we really need? What are we the worst off in terms of? Pitching, obviously. We could always do with more pitching. I'd like to get a better backup catcher. You're making $6,000 if you bad at everything. You're not making $0. Race is fine for now. Danny Murtaugh is pretty bad. He also launched his movie career. Oh, I didn't realize that fans secretly loved him. I had no idea that he was like a team captain or whatever. We could definitely use one of those. Who else do we not need offensively? Eddie Mayo's bad at everything. I guess we'll at least be trying to trade some of these guys. I just don't think it'll work. But we can try to trade Eddie Mayo. And predictably, nobody wanted him. Yes, and I'm not looking for anything more than prospects. That's intentional. We're a lot leaner now. We're going to get even more lean, but a lot will depend on what's of it. Oh, George Washington is just actively bad. Yeah. Gone. Alright. So, Rule 5 draft time. I will take anybody that seems like a good fit. Okay. Emil Cush looks like a pretty darn solid reliever. Philly Dave is okay, but not amazing. I'm looking for either somebody with lots of future potential or somebody who has something that our team just doesn't have right now. And I'm not seeing it. So I think I'm just going to go ahead and take Emil Cush and call it good. Unless somebody here is secretly like an amazing player. Which I don't think that they are. Yeah, they are. That's fine. I think we have enough anyway. Okay. Up to Hall of Fame voting results. Really? Game? I swear it's rigged, because there's no way in hell that Babe Ruth is not a unanimous pick. Like, I know it wasn't a unanimous pick in real life, but that's because people are idiots. This is a tragedy. Dave Bancroft was more than good enough to get into the Hall of Fame. He was a good offensive shortstop who played really good defense, and I'm not quite sure why he didn't make it. Actually, I guess he stayed too long. Oh no, I was looking at... Yeah, never mind. He was an excellent shortstop. Yeah, that's really disappointing. But maybe as people drop off the ballot, we'll get some chances for other people to make it. Okie dokie. So I gotta be honest. I'm at least gonna let them pitch in spring training before I just arbitrarily call them up, because I don't want to start the clock on them if it turns out they're not very good. More importantly, I have some flexibility so I could add if I wanted to. I don't need to put a huge amount into player development or scouting right now. I'm fine with where they are. So we're just going to kind of deal with that. Wouldn't... No. There's nothing about Walker Cooper that makes me want to have him. Okay, let me make it clear, I don't want Walker Cooper. I don't care how many freaking players you ask for. I don't want him. All I'm trying to do at this point is get rehired. That's it. I don't really care too much. His control slipped a tiny bit. But I'm hopeful we can work on that in spring training. Oh, I'm sorry. That was rude of me. Rejected. Like I ghosted them. Well, they deserved it. Okay. Dick, Dave, and Hetkel are all going to get opportunities in the majors this season. And really, Elmer Singleton too. Let's get it all done. Okay, very important. Strict. I don't want you to keep putting so much pressure on just one or two starters. You think Ferris is the ace now? I mean, he might be. And then, same for you. Set all the lineups. Okie dokie. And then we're going to sim to the end of spring training. I don't like how Gray keeps getting even worse at control. That needs to be going up, not down. But I think the rest of the package is good enough that you're worth hanging on to. Not Pinky. Not... Oh, fuck you, game. How long is he out? 5 weeks. What's everyone tweaking their obliques? Is that just what the kids do for fun these days? Alright. So, I currently have 19 pitchers. I am not carrying 19 pitchers in 1945. I will be carrying probably deliberately 10 pitchers, and I'm going to explain why. Because I'm going to try to claim another pitcher off of the waivers. Either a reliever or more likely a starter. To reestablish that. So, that means 9 pitchers gotta go. Bob Allen, you suck. Les Barnhart, you suck. Tex Carlton, I guess there's still like a tiny role for you, maybe. But not an important role. I can at least use you as like a rubber arm out of the bullpen. But on the other hand, you suck. I don't know why I try to talk myself into that. Ed Ked, Bob Klein. Also on Team Suck. Frank Gabler. You suck. Where are we at right now? 13. So I got to get rid of 3 more pitchers. Well, there's a lot of sucks still to get rid of. Like you. And you. And... You've got really elite strikeout capability, so even though on the whole you suck, you're still intriguing enough to keep on the roster. So instead, I'm going to send one of the rookies back to the minors, and that's going to be... Actually, send Masterson back to the minors. Let him see how he does. So everybody here, you made the team. Congratulations. I couldn't be more proud of you. Did everyone who needed to be added? I did. Okay. I now, incredibly, only need to get rid of 1 hitter. I don't really have a good defensive third base replacement, so Clary might get that job. Yeah, Susu Sudaro, you can go back to that. And we are down to 25, my friends, with a significantly improved pitching staff. We're asking an awful lot of a lot of young players, but that's just how it is sometimes. And I really want to try to claim one more player. So I'm going to temporarily put Mueller in the minors, with the understanding that I'm trying to claim a starter to fill in until Bevins is healthy. So we're going to wait until opening day, and we're going to see who's getting claimed. Bro, this is playing for our job. That is all we are doing here. Nothing too different happened there. I have the number 2 prospect in the majors. That's pretty exciting. Please do not give me scouting reports. I find them boring. They do not please me. Checking the waiver wire. Lots and lots of players. Good news. None of them starters, but I'm not going to let that dissuade me because some of them might actually be starters and they just don't know it. I can't trust you as a starter, not with only 2 pitches that are any good. But maybe I'm kind of stuck grabbing him just because I just need a warm body. And look, even if he doesn't work out, I think he'll be useful in the long run. So I'm going to go ahead and claim him. And let me see if there's anybody else that might be helpful to us. Just do default. I'd really like a better backup catcher. I think that's the one thing I'd really like to try to make a claim on. You suck. You suck. Hey, Eddie Miller, I remember you. Vaguely. Okay, so they're all terrible. That's good to know. Which I guess makes sense, right? If someone is actually a good defensive catcher, you're generally not going to let them go. Give me fielding ratings. Jim Sheehan is a god-awful hitter, but at least he's a good catcher. I don't think that's enough, though. I don't think that's enough for me to grab him, although I am sorely tempted. That's fine. And let's take a look at the trading block super quick, and let's just see what kind of players are on offer. A guy like a Paul Derringer would be awfully intriguing in our new rotation. And I bet they're going to get rid of his salary. Which they are. Yeah, done. How is this trade not in our best interest, Assistant GM? I'm trading a bad reliever for a good starter. I know he's seen better days, but I'm not asking for a huge amount from him. So yes, I will complete the trade. Done. Alright, so let's start getting things set up. pitching ratings, if you please. Just for the sake of not pushing the youngster too hard, I'm gonna make Derringer the ace. Then Ferris. Then Dizzy Trout. Then Hal Gregg. And then I guess Les Teacher. Makes sense. I do need to make one more spot because I don't have a good long reliever at this point. Oh, but I'm going to be getting one if I get my claim. So, for now, everyone's a middle reliever, and you'll all just have to figure it out. Because none of you are really good enough to be a stopper, in my opinion. How good a hitter is Dave Ferris? He's not great. So I'm going to go ahead and immediately say you are not a... that you cannot be a two-way player. Very important, by the way. Something somebody brought up which is really great. You can... There's a difference between adjust and override here. With adjust, it counteracts the existing team strategy settings. So for instance, if I had it all the way to the right on slow, I could push it all the way to the left on quick, and if I'm on adjust, it splits the difference. So basically he would be used in a league average setting. But if I pick override, that sets it in an absolute sense. So adjust is relative, override is absolute. So that's pretty cool. Anyway, got 15 baseball players here who all need jobs. Alright. The best overall hitter is Nick Etten. He's also my best power hitter. But I think he would be... I mean, I guess I could have Woodling bat third. He's got everything that Etten does except for the power. Yeah, I think Woodling makes more sense. You're starting there. This way, Etten is cleaning up. Pee Wee Reese is definitely our leadoff guy. He can for sure get on base, and that's what we want. Reyes and Arnovich are kind of 6 of one, half dozen of another. I'm going to pick Arnovich to bat second just because he has a slightly better batting eye. Mr. Joe Gallagher, I don't really have a role for you right now. I guess Nap Reyes bats fifth. And then Jerry Pretty bats eighth. Mike Kravich bats seventh. Oh, no, because Al Lopez is batting eighth. He's the worst hitter on the team. He's literally just there for his defense. So, the top part of our lineup is quite talented, but once you get past Nap Reyes, it really starts to take a bit of a tumble. These are ripe areas to improve upon in the future. If Bud Hafey were anywhere near a decent center fielder, I'd probably consider giving him some reps. And he'll still get some. But I need Kravich's outstanding defense. And for whatever reason, Bud Hafey is not that good at defense. So Barton's going to back up at first. Schultz shall back up at catcher. Pretty, I think we have Clary and McCoy in that order. Clary is also the only choice to back up third. Shortstop shall be Ben Lillard, or Bill Lillard, or Lily Lillard. Joe Gallagher, you can back up in the corners. And Bud Hafey, you can play center. And I think that'll do it. Our number one pinch hitter is, of course, Gallagher. Then Hafey. Then Clary. Done. Pinch runners, they're all kind of slow. I mean, I guess Gallagher is the least bad option. So there you go, my dude. Enjoy. And I'm not going to bother with messing with platooning because I don't have a deep enough roster to do that. So there we go. Excellent. I then take Mr. I can't send down Al Lopez. I can't even send down Teacher because we really need him for right now. Mr. Singleton, you go to the minors. Mr. Strinkovich, you are activated. And you immediately become my emergency starter long reliever. That will do. Damn, Dave Ferris, look at you in your Major League debut. Throwing 8 innings of scoreless baseball. Alright, I would like to send all of you to the minor leagues. Really? Can all of you decline that? Then I guess we're all just cut. There we go. Oh boy. Anyway. Okay, we get good old Bill back. This makes Teacher the most expendable, which is exactly what I wanted. I'm going to send Monty to the minors so that he can work on his craft a bit. Bevins is back. So we're going to right quick do this, and then this. And then Teacher, I'm going to make you long relief emergency starter. Because you're somewhat better as a reliever than you would be as a starter. And that'll do Pig. Benny, I don't care if you're unhappy. I'd like you to stop talking, please. So we're real bad. Okay. Why are we so bad? It's not because of Nap Reyes, that's for sure. Okay, Gene Woodling and PB Reese deciding not to hit is a bad look. Reese is still getting on base, though, so I think he'll come around. Having 4 homers as an entire team is not a great look. The pitching staff is improved, though. So I'm definitely taking credit for that. We've definitely made some inroads right there. It's going to take a while. I just need you to not get me fired, gentlemen. That's all I request. Oh, damn, Lou Boudreaux. Look at you. Well, taking a hitter who's not playing well and putting him on the IL is, I guess, a thing that just happened. Bud Metheny, welcome to the major leagues. Like, let me be clear, Hafey's gonna get put at right field, but I do need a backup outfielder. I don't have a backup center fielder, do I? I do have Chet Hyduke and Earl Naylor. Yikes. You know what? Joe Gallagher can have the spot, and then I can just call up Bud Metheny to just back up for a bit. So Gallagher, you're going to be playing right. I don't want you hitting third, though. I'll have Reyes hit third. Okay. Like, the thing is, I don't want to trade Hafey. I really don't. I don't want to trade any of my players. I think they're all just grumpy because we're losing. So we're just gonna keep on keeping on and see if we can start to turn it around a bit. Excellent. Hal Gregg is working on the important stuff. I like it. You love to see it. Yeah, Dave Ferris has turned out to be pretty damn good. Swing, swang, swung. Nice. Maury Arnabich's weird refusal to hit for power is a bit concerning. But he's having a phenomenal season, and I'm not going to, like, jump down his throat for it. He's doing what he needs to do. Alright. Is there a place we could make a significant upgrade immediately? Center field? Catcher? Those both seem like places we could improve upon. I could use a big game reliever. So let's see what is available on the trade block. A bunch of people I don't even care about. Like, there's some really good hitters here, but I just don't have spots for them. I would love Buddy Rozar, but I can't trade for him, alas, because he is injured. Meh. There's a lot of meh happening right now. There's a lot of players that I'm just not looking at and seeing, ooh, that'll fix things overnight. So let's switch over to... I mean, look, I could get an outfielder like Ben Chapman. I'm not denying he would be a pretty big boost to the team. I still don't know if he's a big enough boost, especially when I have a good right fielder who just happens to be hurt right now. So let's go ahead and look at pitchers. I don't really need another starter. I need a good reliever. And there really aren't any available. Okay. I think I will not be trading at this moment. Not at least until I know for sure that I'm not going to get my right fielder back. Which I just did. Okay. Bud Matheny, back to the minors with you. Okay, now I'm going to lose Nick Etten. That could be somebody worth trading for, or trading up to get. Because if he is not playing well, then that definitely needs to be fixed. And then Gallagher can go back to being the primary backup there. Really, we need Woodling to start hitting. That, I think, is one of the most important things our team could use to start becoming a lot more competitive. That's actually not what I'm worried about. 5 weeks. That's going to pretty much kill the team. I'm not going to lie. That one hurts quite a lot. I do have Eddie Waitkiss, the first baseman who can't hit. That's fun. Like, look, I do have a backup in Barton. And at least Barton has lots of power, but he's also just the worst. So I'm kind of thinking trading for new first baseman makes sense. Out of interest, Etten cannot play anywhere else. Okay, that's fine. And I definitely don't want Etten not playing if he is healthy. Yeah, his weird power outage is not ideal. So the question is, do we go out and get a big name first baseman? Because there are some of those on the trade market. Remember, I'm trying to keep my job. I like my job. I don't want to be fired. And I think I've done a good bit to improving the team. We just need a big bat. So let's talk to these people again. These lovely folks. Donhurst would be a perfect fit on this lineup. He's not a very good position player. But what I could do is trade for him. That would give Etten more time to recover, and then I could trade him when I no longer want him. What is it going to take me to get a Donhurst? Somebody I'm not really willing to give up. So how's about Frank Wiskin and Eddie Waitkiss? Okay, we're super duper close. I'm just dumping prospects to pick him up. Done. Okay, instantly Donhurst goes right into the lineup. And the thing is, he's 39, so he's not likely to play too much longer in the majors anyway. So this is a good fit for him, I think. That's fine. He misses a start. Stop interrupting my season for that. Ah. That is what happens, amigos, when you have a player who is already quite old. And that is probably going to end his season. Do I have a starter? I do not. I could just trade for a starter. There's always Bobo Newsom. But you're going to want something legitimately good for him. So let's see if I can offer you Bobby Wilkins. And Bob Savage. And Johnny Wertosik. I don't want to trade Teacher because the point is to make sure that I have him in my back pocket in case someone gets hurt. You can have Pete Suter. I'm probably overreacting, but this is more just I need to be at least semi-competent in order to keep my job. We will talk about coaches here in a second. Do we literally get no hit? No, we didn't. Okay. Yeah, we're getting shut out because our hitters aren't good enough. But let's go ahead and look at the All-Star Game roster. Ferris made it. Of course he did. Don Hurst made it. Maury Arnovich made it. And it looks like that's it. Just those three players. Which is fair. Which is very fair. Let's talk to our coaches. Okay. Alright. We could do better than G Madden, I think. I can let him walk. I'm just going to offer all the minor leaguers new coaching staffs if they want them. You're a great pitching coach. I don't want to let you go. That sounds lovely. Our scouting director is actually quite good. I'm not really adverse to keeping him, but we could also use a more toolsy scout. So I think maybe I'm willing to let him go. I think maybe we can replace him too in the offseason. And just hope that we're not replacing ourselves. So that's that. And let us go ahead and advance time a bit. Bill Bevins is getting some more stuff. That's great. Reese is slipping a tiny bit, but not by a huge amount. You're getting better. Okay. Joe DiMaggio, Boston Braves. That's hilarious. That never gets old. Okay, Etten won't be coming back this season. That's actually not the worst thing for us because our new guy's actually having a pretty good season. So I'm going to go to transactions and I'm going to transfer you to the 60-day injured list. Benny, I'm sure you do want out, but you play an important role, and I'm not going to trade you for nothing. But I will trade you if you want off the roster that badly. So let's see what I might get for you. And heck, everybody's on the table. We can add salary. Let's use that advantage to our full list. No, I'm happy with Nap Reyes playing third right now. Now, Mel Almada, you're an interesting cat. Especially because Mike Kravich is already 38 and isn't having a very good season. Adding you is actually kind of tempting. Looks like I could get really good somewhere else. I'm not saying I won't trade. I'm just saying that right now I don't see anybody that I stare at and go, this is going to completely change everything. I mean, I could shove Cullenbine into the outfield, but I don't think that's a great look. So, Almada is an offensive upgrade over Kravich, and he's a fan favorite, but he's also fragile. But I'm also not giving up very much. And Kravich really has been just a bad hitter. And he's not playing like ultra mega gold glove caliber defense either. So I think we trade Kravich. I think we trade for Armada. Not Armada. Almada. I was close. Yeah, done. Plus, he's a fan favorite, and that's going to make him very, very popular and help us sell tickets. So, instantly, Mr. Ramada, you're going to pop right into hitting sixth for us. Kravich, I'd like to trade you for, but in your case, I have to be more specific about what I want, which is a prospect. Howie Fox is a borderline starter. Like, his changeup isn't great, but I definitely think he's got a lot to offer however he's used, so I will trade for him. And then, Mr. New Guy, you get called up. Howie, I can let you learn in the minors for now. Unless I just trade less here. Yeah, I don't need less anymore. Sometimes less is more, LOL. Here I will be looking for regulars. I do want another center fielder. Veterans? Oh, I can't trade him today. That's fine. That's fine. Look, Howie Fox is a pretty good starter candidate. I just need him to improve his control. So I'm going to send him to the minors to do exactly that. And I'm actually going to go ahead and call up Elmer Singleton. And then lineups are set. They're almost set. No, they are set. Yeah, that's fine. I know the stats don't show themselves well on the score sheet, probably because Gene Woodling decided this is the season he's just not going to hit. He definitely has a pretty big sophomore slump, which I would appreciate if he would stop. Just play better. But I do think we've made some pretty decent upgrades to the roster. I mean, PB Reese's complete inability to hit for contact is really troubling. This needs to change as well, but I can't really do anything about it. I just have to let him play through it. Because I don't have a better option. Okay, we're going to get ourselves a Paul Derringer back. Hal, I'm going to let you go pitch in the minors too. I know you're having a pretty solid year there, my dude, but this is about making sure that you have an easier time. That's pretty baller that you have like a torn ligament in your thumb and you're just like, oh, I'll just be back in a few days. But I do not have a quality shortstop in the minors. I mean, it might be Floyd Baker just because someone has to be the backup. And he's at least, yeah, it's going to be Baker. Bill Lilliard is going to play shortstop while Reese is out. He's definitely not the leadoff guy, though. Almada can be the leadoff guy. And we'll bump up Pretty. And then Baker, you're the backup shortstop. I don't like it either, but it's what we do. Copy and copy. Paste and paste. And I'm going to go ahead and trade Vic Barton. Or whatever his name is. Is it Vic? It's not Vic, is it? It's Vince. I want a good backup infielder. Like Billy Jurgis. But maybe I can get cheaper. Let me drop veterans. Okay. Okay, you're both terrible. Okay, then let's include veterans, and I will spend a bit of money trying to get a quality backup. Pinky May is really just a third baseman. Lynn Mars is really bad at everything. I guess Billy Jurgis is the guy we're looking for. He at least offers us more depth at a position that actually matters, unlike first base. Like, how many first basemen does one team need? Joe Schultz can back up at first for right now. And then, where's the new guy? Oh, he is still on DFA. I'm just clicking buttons right now. Jurgis, you're going to back up at shortstop. And Schultz, you're going to back up at first. And now that's dealt with. Bud Hafey, I understand that you're grumpy, but it's been a while since you started. And you're too valuable to me to give up for nothing. So I would like you to stop complaining, please. Nice work, Dizzy. I did fix the pitching staff, right? Yeah. So notice how the innings load is much more distributed. And I think we're seeing a much better team as a result. So I'm pretty happy about that. I'm just going to go... I'm not going to trade anybody else. I'm just going to go ahead and sim to the end of the month. Okay, we get Pee-wee back. Great. So Pee-wee, you get your old job back, but I'm not going to make you leadoff guy anymore. Oh shit, Almada's not hitting. No, you are leading off again. Sorry. I was gonna give you a bit of a break, but then, well. At least you draw walks, which is more than I can say for some other people on this team. Man, my owner's not going to be happy with me, is he? I need you to do me a favor, owner bro. I need you to trust me. I know it's going to be hard. You're going to see, wow, that guy sucks. Hey, look at Pee-wee. Good for him. Okay. So we finished 63 and 91. And let's be clear here. Last season, they were 3 wins better, so I actually made the team worse. But I cut payroll, and I dramatically improved the pitching staff. So I think I deserve a new contract. Let's start talking about how the regular season went. Maury Arnovich had a great season. Don Hurst was definitely the best trade we made all season. I know that Pee Wee Reese didn't have a big offensive season, but because he's so good overall and the fact he's a shortstop, he did okay. I am not upset with Pee Wee Reese. Gene Woodling really fell back from his rookie season. That is definitely problematic, and I'm really hoping that what we see next year is a vast improvement. He had next to no power and really just didn't hit the ball, despite getting lots of opportunities. That needs to change, my friend. Nap Reyes was good. Jerry Pretty had a pretty decent offensive season, which I certainly didn't expect. Al Lopez was replacement level. That's fun. But look, in Lopez's case, he's always going to be screwed by the fact that he's such a bad hitter. I don't know what you're angry about. Oh, you're angry because he played badly. That's a good reason to be angry. Don't play that badly. We didn't have a big-time bat until we got Don Hurst. But we had competency in some situations. Like, purely based on offensive contributions, the only players that had a great season were Don Hurst, Gene Woodling because of his ability to draw walks, and then Ellis Clary had 60 pretty amazing plate appearances this year. But yeah, we need an offensive leader. We need somebody that we can rely on year in and year out to give us top quality production all the time. All this is ignoring, however, the real story, which is taking and building one of the very finest rotations in the major leagues. I know Dizzy Trout slid a bit because he wasn't used as often. He should not be walking as many hitters as he does, and he may just be somebody I have to trade. I don't think Dizzy Trout is ever going to be a top-tier starting pitcher. There's just too many walks. So I think Dizzy Trout is going to get traded. Derringer was fine. He wasn't great, but he was fine. Bobo Newsome was a nice addition to the roster. Admittedly, he had some issues once he got to our team, but that's fine. Then there's Dave freaking Ferris. I did not expect him to be this good this quickly. and I'm happy about it. Very, very happy. Probably not a good look to have your starter throwing 281 innings, but it's fine. Bullpen by committee worked okay. It didn't work brilliantly. We could really use a number one reliever. This is a significantly better team. I know we lost 3 more games, but we have actual, honest-to-God depth at starting pitcher. We didn't just get better, we got younger. To the point where I can actually trade a Dizzy Trout and not be worried about it. Which is just phenomenal. Would I like Hal Gregg to have better control? I would. Would I like Howie Fox to have better control? I also would. But both of them are also perfectly capable of pitching for me and pitching well. Although I am concerned about Howie Fox's lack of a third pitch. So I think before I do anything else, I'm going to go ahead and trade Dizzy Trout. I know I'm not trading him at the very top of his value, but I also know that this is not sustainable, and it's not trending in the right direction either. He's just going to walk too many PIP players to be a frontline starter without also striking out a lot of starters. And that just can't happen. I can't be giving him this many innings and having him pitch this poorly. So we're going to trade Dizzy Trout. And I'm looking for any prospector regular that seems like they'd be a great fit. I was complaining about not having a bullpen ace. Bill Sales would definitely fill that role quite nicely. Nope. Yeah, Joe Krakowskis is not the guy I'm looking for. Here's Jeff Heath. So, we really need a new catcher. That is probably the most important position that we could upgrade at. But the problem is that the catchers I'm finding are worse than him defensively and aren't really good offensively. So that's problematic. I could get Bob Feller. Yes, a pitcher that walks too many people being replaced by Bob Feller. That's not a brilliant idea. I'm really tempted by Bill Sales, actually. I'm really tempted by his elite ability as a pitcher. And I think he takes us from good to great bullpen. Because I'm seeing a lot of players that can offer something, but I'm not seeing any player that can offer everything. I mean, Paul O'Day is a pretty solid guy to have on our roster. That is for sure. But that would just be to save money, and I'm really doing this to improve the team. Then again, I might be able to get Earl Johnson and Paul O'Day. Let's try it. I'd have to throw in somebody else. And I gotta say, Arnold Carter is a little bit too good to trade. What if I offer you the Al Lamacchia? And just as a treat, I'm going to also offer you Eddie Stokes. So we got our big bullpen guy in Earl Johnson. At least we've further upgraded the bullpen. We've got an intriguing young outfielder. And all we gave up was a player who wasn't going to be stuck on the team anymore anyway. Paul Derringer is also probably tradable, but he's also still quite useful, even in a reduced capacity. So I'm not objecting to keeping him on the roster. Let's go ahead and sim to the end of the playoffs. Oh, when do I get to hire new coaches? I think it's not until after the playoffs. Billy, you're not starting. Stop complaining. Giants won the World Series. Gross. I didn't get fired. This is an incredibly important thing that happened. I did have a couple younger coaches retire. Okay. We definitely still have a lot of room to grow. No question. But equally, no question, we have a lot more talent now than we did at the beginning of the season. And now we finished 63 and 91 is just something that happens. I don't really think there's so much I can do about that now. We had the first overall pick. And who we got? Not just pitchers. I need all players. Okay. We're starting to get the good players now. Ralph Kiner. Yogi Berra. Bobby Thompson. Carl Furillo. Now, granted, this is all based on OSA, because I don't have a scouting director right now. So we have to temper this with some level of reality. But this is a damn fine draft to have a number 1 overall pick in. I'm seeing some players that could really transform our team. I gotta be honest, it's probably going to be Yogi Berra. Because he's almost as good at catching as Al Lopez, but he is roughly 1.8 billion times better offensively. And it's not close. Like, yeah, Berra's got some growing to do, but I am here for that. So we're going to get ourselves, first of all, a new first base coach. Danny, you've been kind of stuck in AAA a long time. I think I'm going to go ahead and promote you to being my first base coach. And just let you have a new job. You're not great. Alright, step 1, Dots Miller. You're going to be the manager for Stock Island, and you're going to be the pitching coach for Stock Island. Wow, Luke, why don't you like Stock Island? I'm giving you promotion, dude. But alright. I mean, you're a pretty brilliant pitching coach, I'm not going to lie. Damn, just bad at everything. Okay. That's fine. Scouting director, if in you please, game. Okay, I like Whitey Glasner quite a lot. I'm just gonna hire him. There's literally no one else I want more. He favors tools, which is gonna help us find those tremendous young players. And it's gonna be great. Manager ratings. Now, I actually want a pretty decent coach in AAA if I can manage it. Someone with really good development and mechanics. Pep, who are you playing for? You're playing for AA. I bet you'd love a promotion. I'd like to offer you a contract with AAA. And last but certainly not least, I need a new pitching coach. I will try George Payne. I wouldn't be shocked if it didn't work. And I just want someone with a good development record. Dude, Rip, I am happy to give you a chance to be a manager. And we'll see how that turns out. So, 2 things have happened this season. One good, one not so good. The good thing that happened was we completely transformed the pitching staff. It went from being a liability to a strength. And we have plenty more talent coming up in the pipeline. I'm not saying that any of them are sure things, but I'm saying that they're close. And I think that's going to have a pretty big impact on how we play in the future. The thing that happened that wasn't so good is a lot of the players we were counting on having a big role kind of let us down. Not the least of which is Nick Etten, whose injury really hurt the team. So we're going to have to see what happens to you. But we get the first overall pick. I can have anybody that I want. And that is huge because we finally have a good draft. And there's lots of possibilities that I could talk myself into. OSA thinks I'm going to take Grady Hatton. OSA is full of shit. I am not taking Grady Hatton. Of all the players in this draft, there is not a player I would take less than Grady Hatton. Ralph Kiner's incredible power and plate discipline would also look pretty tasty, especially because we don't have very much power. Bobby Thompson would be a lovely addition to our team. Yeah, Sherm Lawler. I'm going to take him when I have Yogi Berra. Look, it's probably going to be Yogi. I can't really think of a good reason not to take him. Other than there's always a chance it won't work out. The only reason I take anybody else is if my new scouting director thinks that Ralph Kiner is going to be hitting for like an insane amount of contact, or that there's somebody else that I should just jump on. But it would have to be something pretty goddamn massive for me to not take Yogi Berra. I just really don't see a reason not to do it. It's an instant, middle-of-the-order bat who's a great defender at a premium position. I just can't imagine it. I can't imagine looking at this draft and randomly deciding not to take Yogi. Unless it was for Bobby Thompson or Ralph Kiner. And to be honest, neither one of them really seemed that exciting to me. But we'll see what happens. We'll see. Once we get our new scout, maybe I'll feel differently. But I'm almost certain that I won't. But times are changing. And I think they're going to get better. And I think this is going to be a really great, really deep draft. I might get 2 first-round picks, essentially, depending on how this draft goes. I would not take Johnny Groth, I don't think. Maybe I would. But yeah, I just don't see a world in which I don't take Yogi Berra unless there's something deeply wrong with his projection. And maybe there is. I don't know. Okay. Well, that's going to be it for me this episode. I hope you guys are enjoying. I'm really hopeful that we'll be able to turn things around so that I don't get fired again. But until next time, this has been Avindian. Thank you for watching, and I bid you good day.